Shonen action anime, the most popular genre of the whole lot. Well, maybe second to ecchi, but that's debatable. Just a general rule to my lists are that I do my very best not to recycle as much as what most other people do, as I have a stronger desire to suggest you animes to watch. And also, people, if you don't see any of your favorites, don't take it personally, as I either haven't watched the show you wanted or it's on another list. So before we proceed, click that like button, and now we shall proceed. Akame ga Kill is perhaps one of the most fast-paced action series out there that cuts out the BS chit-chat to a minimum. Characters most definitely have my interest, as each one has their own story as to why they've joined the Night Raid. The battles itself, like I mentioned before, aren't dragged out at the time I've watched this. The story revolves around Tatsumi, a guy who came to earn money for a starving village. However, due to certain circumstances, he later finds more about the capital and its corruption, and decides to join the Night Raid squad to help eliminate everything causing the corruption plaguing the capital, through merciless killings that get depicted very well. Definitely try out Akame ga Kill if you're starving for some simple and enjoyable action. Jormungand was one of those seasonal anime that I for some reason didn't follow up on. The action in Jormungand is pretty badass, especially with how beautiful our weapon arms dealer Coco is. Her strategy with her attacks on people that owe her or trying to put her in the shitter are nothing short of amazing. Especially Coco's subordinates she has formed is nothing short of outstanding when you look at certain individuals. The story pretty much starts with her taking in Jonathan, a child soldier who doesn't really express much emotion but more than makes up for it with his skill and action out on the battlefield. The story is pretty interesting, especially when Yoko often spews an interesting deep thought or two about weapons, war in relation to business. And don't forget, the soundtrack is definitely something to keep an ear out for. Attack on Titan makes its way onto yet another list of mine yet again. The show's main selling point is pretty much the action, and with the way production IG executed the scenes where we see Mikasa gracefully butchering the heads off those titans to Eren brawling it out toe to toe with all these titans in a special form. The anime itself is very heavy action oriented and definitely had me engrossed in this huge lingering mystery as to where these titans are really coming from and hiding. As for my thoughts, it was great. However, once you take away the action, the flaws and slower pacing definitely become noticeable. But hey, is that really enough to deter you away from such a groundbreaking show like this? Full Metal Panic is one of my most fun, enjoyable series, particularly with its comedy that always makes me comfortable. But today, I ain't here to talk about the comedy, it's the action. The action in Full Metal Panic and the serious story we have set here is definitely really gripping, as well as the battles we get with the mechs that go on and off. The series revolves around a dedicated military specialist, Sosuke, who has been assigned to protect this babe, Chidori. The show as a whole definitely has the quirks that you would watch an anime for, and most definitely serves as a great gateway anime at that. Watch it and thank me later. Tiger and Bunny definitely took me under surprise, and I could barely make out how it seemed very much unlike any anime I've watched before, quite like in Bebop's case. Despite how CGI is so badly looked upon, in Tiger and Bunny's case they made it work, but that doesn't really come as to a surprise knowing that it was Sunrise that made this all happen. Tiger and Bunny may seem like a show for kids, but surprisingly it was actually aimed at adults in this case. The story is about the duo Kotetsu and Barnaby, who are referred to as Next, but to make it easier, they're just heroes, part of a group of even more heroes that work together to save lives and solve cases, as well as acquiring hero points and getting sponsors, which is decorated practically everywhere in the show. Their activities are also broadcasted on a TV program called the Hero TV, which pick the king of heroes based on a yearly ranking. So as you can see, the setting for this setup is very different to what we often see and seems more like a Western influenced anime, which isn't bad and quite refreshing for a change. The main character Kotetsu is especially interesting at the get-go, given that we have an adult main character for an anime, which is extremely rare, which I applaud it for very much. Throughout the series, you see his relationship gradually grow with Barnaby, who seeks vengeance on the murder of his parents, and thus often butts heads with Kotetsu. Therefore, throughout the series, you will see a lot of ideologies being thrown around about what makes a hero, what defines a hero, and what is expected of you to be a hero. So definitely try out Tiger and Bunny, especially the English dub, as it's one joy of a ride and offers something vastly different from most other anime whilst lingering the nostalgia days of Saturday morning cartoons. If your choice didn't make it on here in this video, it may do for the next part. Now I ask you for what your top shonen and action anime series are. Leave your responses down below and make sure to drop a like and subscribe to keep up to date with the release of the other parts, and here's the rest if you're watching this like years from now.